Fafe marks the opening of the Portuguese Rally Championship. 2 emotive days of competition in the Rally Cathedral. Located in Braga, in the north of the country, the city of Fafe received the first round of the Portuguese Rally Championship. The famous tracks were the host of big machines, 14 R5s and 1 Skoda Fabia S2000, and strong Portuguese drivers. One of the most anticipated rallies needs to be ready in advance. Serras de Fafe rally sections are cleaned and prepared months before.
It's
easy. We have permanent teams throughout the year with machines to make sure that the stages are okay. When we're near the rally, we have a special care as well as placing security lines. From picket fences, strips, railings at the most dangerous places, it's basically this. Porto is the company responsible for this mythical race. After 29 years, the organization guarantees that this year we're going to watch one of the best rallies in Europe. For 10 years now, it's been called Serras de Fafe Rally. It's expected that 2016 is going to be a very competitive rally. We have amazing cars and great drivers, so probably it'll be a very strong rally. On day 1, during the night, 2 passes through Confurco section, about 11 kilometers each one. Rain, mud, night, nothing stops these great drivers controlling their great cars. First day of the event, 2 classifications through the Confurco sections. Even with just a minimal knowledge of his R5 and with treacherous conditions, Fernando Perez fought to conquer the front-runners. Perez is returning to the Fafe Rally after 2 years. From the first section to the second, the northern driver climbed 1 position and finished the day in 5th place. There were some very difficult stages. The time didn't help. It was raining, the road was slippery, there was mud at some places, but it was really slippery. So it was tricky. They were fast and we aren't used to driving by night. The car's new, it's a completely different car from what I'm used to driving, but I think we got the result of what I was hoping for. Night and rain were the big obstacles. Pedro Mireles was cautious and finished with 29.4 seconds from the leader, 4th place overall. It's a time difference that does not show exactly how strong this driver is. Current national leader, José Pedro Fontes, was the first driver opening the tracks. Still, on the second track opening, he put his Citroën DS3 R5 into 2nd place. Now, on the second round, an outbound pushes him to 3rd, about 15.4 seconds from the leader, Ricardo Moura. I think we're strong enough to discuss the victory, although tomorrow it'll be a very difficult rally. These conditions are tricky. Any failure can ruin everything, but no risks, no gains. It wasn't easy because the weather's bad up here. We had the first car on the road, so the conditions were a little bit different, but it didn't go that badly. On the second stage, we had a small outbound, but tomorrow we'll keep fighting for the best possible result. Miguel Campos showed immediately that the time he was away from the competitions wouldn't be a handicap. This was the first round controlling his Skoda Fabia R5, but still, the driver had to conquer to second place in the two special tracks, and his car setup was for dry conditions. In the opening special track, Ricardo Moura showed he had the strongest pace compared to his opponents. Controlling the wheel of his Ford Fiesta R5, the Azorian pilot also conquered to first place in the second track. He kept the lead with 13.8 seconds from the second. For now, it's a result extremely positive. I think it's a good start for us. To start with the leadership in a rally that's one of the most competitive of all times, with fast drivers with good equipment. So being first at the end of two stages of a difficult rally and with a lot of mud and a set of hard difficulties that we had to face, I'm really happy with this start.
Dificuldades muito grandes que tivemos que enfrentar e, portanto, estou muito satisfeito para já com este arranque.
An impressive top 5, as those drivers were national champions. Moura for 3 times, Miguel Campos in 2002, José Pedro Fons in 2015, Pedro Meireles in 2014, and Fernando Perez for 3 times in the 90s. There were highlights for the numerous R5s. They occupied the first 12 places in the starting grid, only interrupted by the Spanish Pepe Lopez, that races in the 2 driving wheels category and puts his Peugeot 208 VT1 R2 about 1 minute and 56 seconds from the overall leader, Ricardo Moura. In total, 14 R5s were booked for this big opening in Fafe. In the first day, there were some dropouts from drivers that at the start had showed a strong pace. João Barros had several mishaps. An outbound caused a flat tyre, but he still ended up in 3rd place in the opening section. But the misfortune of the second round was irreversible. A broken piece from the box connection and the differential was the main problem for this northern team. The repair wasn't possible, and the next day the car stayed in the garage. Also, Ricardo Teodosio had an early end. Major problems on the brakes led the team to an outbound. The Ford Fiesta R5 had a delayed service, and on the second day, the driver confirmed that he couldn't keep his car on the track. Serras de Fafe Rally marked the return of Veloso Motorsport. The team was away from street rallies for about 10 years. They were focused on speed series, but now they're back to a place where they had numerous successes. At this level, we couldn't lose the opportunity to be here, and we're really happy. And we're going to do the best rally possible to dignify our sponsor, clients, driver, and to dignify our work.
O nosso cliente e piloto e dignificar o nosso trabalho.
The team returns to rally competition with the help of the well-known rally driver Manuel Castro. Let's say it was a reunion of common interests. Deep down, both Luis Veloso and Veloso Motorsport were anxious to return to the Portuguese Championship Rally. I wanted to give a step forward in the technical and sport structure. We're also neighbours. All of that has helped to bring us here, and in a short period of time, to have this project ready to go. For now, Manuel Castro wants to gain experience in a very competitive championship. Being in the top 10, it's going to be really good because there are 14 cars from the R5 category that are a little bit more evolved. It's not going to be easy. I would believe it if we were better prepared. But not having a chance to prepare, well, we couldn't do it. The team received the car just 3 days before the race, which didn't allow the driver to test his machine. Still, on day 1, Manuel Castro was placed in 14th place, 2 minutes from the leader. Throughout the second day they were strong and winning some time to the opponents and taking advantage of some of the other drivers' bad luck. In his big return from Veloso Motorsport with a Skoda Fabia S2000, driven by Manuel Castro and navigated by Luis Costa, the result was an 8th place, about 7 minutes from the leader. The rally drivers will cross the Luilha section for 3 times, 2 in the morning and 1 in the afternoon, 14 kilometers each. Also, 15 kilometers of the La Marinha stage with a double passage, which will give some excitement to the competition. And finally, the Montin section receives the rally drivers for 3 times, almost 9 kilometers each, which will close the rally for this first day. The previous day was great for Ricardo Moura, but the morning of the second day brought him some misfortune. The rally driver remained in the lead for a while, but on the last league his fate was quite different, as he had a puncture on a tyre and a problem with the transmission, and that threw him out of the Rali Serras de Fafe. Moura could not repeat last year's win. Unfortunately, today was very different from yesterday. Yesterday we started well. We had a good advantage to the other direct competitors. In the beginning of the first stage, we had a slow puncture on the right side that really damaged us for the last 5 miles of the stage. We ended up losing an important part of that advantage, and then in La Marinha we broke a transmission and we had to drop out. Starting the day in second place on the overall chart, Miguel Campos won the first 2 special stages from the day and became 3rd on PEC 5. Because Moura dropped out, Miguel Campos was the leader of the rally for a while, but mechanical problems in his Skoda Fabia R5 pushed him to 3rd place, more than 1 minute from the leader. Pedro Meirelles started this season with a Skoda R5, which failed in the first season despite efforts. To the contrary, showing quality and evolution, the driver from the north took advantage of his rivals to climb positions. By late morning, Meirelles was placed only 8 seconds away from the leader. José Pedro Fontes wanted revenge from the last year's 6th place, and at the end of the morning he made it to a 1st place. The rally driver forgot the day before outbound and now was the new leader with about 8 seconds ahead of the others. Amongst the 2-wheel drives, competitiveness was very strong, with 5 riders on the track. João Ruivo started well, but had a turning point on the first day, causing him to lose about 20 minutes. The rally driver still had a lot of problems on the second day. The right side of his car head broke and his suspension failed as well. The goal then was to finish the competition. He had made it to 5th place in the 2 driving wheels category, last on the overall chart. Paulo Moreira, who drove again with a Skoda Fabia R2, arrived in Fafe with a good car knowledge. The test allowed him to use a regular rhythm, and with some consistency, he remained in the same position for a while. In the end, about 50 minutes from the leader of the 2WD, he ranked the 4th in the category, 15th overall. Together with João Serodi, Francisco Teixeira was able to put his Renault Clio in the middle of the chart between the 2-wheel drive competitions for most of the time. Teixeira won some time from the first stage until the last one, and at the end of the rally, the driver made it to the podium, 3rd in the category and 14th place overall. Neto and Victor Hugo came to the Fafe with the same car as last season, a Citroën DS3 R3T Max. The team aims to return to victories, and on the first day they got 2nd place in the 2DW category. Strong candidates for the title with a revised car, they follow the same path as the day before and got the 2nd place, only 5 minutes away from the leader of the 2WD. The promising young Diogo Gago is back at the rally with a Peugeot 208 R2. In fact, the rally driver dreams to fly on to the international stages, but at this moment he's focused to overcome the Spanish driver Pepe Lopez. In fact, he took the overall lead of the 2-wheel drive. Having failed on the first day, he became stronger on the second day. Gago turned out and, in the Portuguese Championship, he managed to win all the sections and stay ahead of Pepe. The Spanish driver had some problems with his car. An excellent 10th overall and 1st between 2-wheel drive were Diogo Gago's results. It was amazing to be back to having victories at the National Championship. It hasn't happened since 2013, since 2014. It's been 2 years and being back with a victory, it's really good.
Uma vitória é bastante bom.
The mythical stage of Fafe was full of entertainment and crowds. Returning to the competitions, the National Triple Championship in the 90s, Fernando Perez had some problems on the afternoon of the second day. Eventually, he went down positions, not resisting the competitiveness of the younger generation, and he was relegated to 13th place overall. From speed to off-road and now rally, Miguel Barbosa was focused to gain experience with his Fabia R5. In the end, he won an excellent 5th place. He ended the first stage with 1 hour and 29 minutes, 3 minutes and 37 seconds from the first place. Showing all the evolution with his Citroën DS3 R5, Carlos Martins ended up having a very positive debut. On the top of 5 wins on the road sections, the driver, who had been a surprise last season, left Fafe with a 4th place overall. After losing 1 minute in the morning, Miguel Campos could no longer recover the time. For a while he was the leader of the Rali Serras de Fafe, but bad luck came his way. In 2015, Miguel Campos got a 2nd place. This year he made it to 3rd place, 1 minute and 7 seconds from the leader. We were able to repair the assisted steering. Of course, 1 minute and 17 seconds made us lose some time in Luilhas. We're really sad because we could have won the rally. We were 1 minute and 7 seconds behind the winner, so in doing the calculations, we would have won this rally for 10 seconds, but we're happy. Pedro Mireles was in an excellent fight with the leader, José Pedro Fontes. Mireles managed to minimise the time lost on day 1, and a few seconds, about 10, secured the 2nd position in this rally, which was filled with excitement from the beginning to the end. The 2nd position is good. The competition was running high, good drivers with big machines. We knew it was going to be a tough race. Yesterday, we didn't do that well because we'd never driven the car in the mud. The setup for mud didn't make any difference and we lost a lot of time. Today was different. We drove more confidently. The car was better. It was a fun fight. José Pedro Fontes started the Portuguese Rally Championship on the right foot. The rally driver won the opening Portuguese stage. With Inês Ponte at his side, the 2015 champion took the lead at the end of the morning and didn't let it go. In fact, Fontes was always close to the lead during all the stages. José Pedro Fontes reached the 10 special tracks with 1 hour, 25 minutes and 25 seconds. It was very important for us to start with a win in a stage where we had to struggle last year with so many good opponents who put up a big fight. I think we gave a good show to the spectators that came to Fafe. There's a bunch of drivers that drove really well. I want to congratulate Pedro Mireles, who pushed me to the last second, but it's a good start to the championship like this, and now we'll celebrate and then start to prepare for the next rally.
Bravo, bravo.
Don't miss out on the 2nd round in Castelo Branco on the 23rd and the 24th of April. The Portuguese Rally Championship is full of competition. See you at the next round.